Hello and welcome to the channel. As always, like the video, and if you enjoyed the story, leave a comment on if you would want more. This fan fiction was not created by me, but in the description there is a link to the fanfic so you can show your support to the creator and read along. Without any more delay, let's dive into the story.
Not as good, but they will become fine breeding stock. You, on the other hand, will help populate a whole new clan for Kumo. If you're lucky, I may even sample the goodsa, but then again, that might just make your sensei jealous. He laughed loudly. Raigo, that's enough. Kurenai replied. I'm not here to torture the kids, I just want what's due to me. Let's go over there and discuss terms, then move out. Hinata didn't understand any of this, but she decided to at least try to learn something about this new Kumo nin. But whenever she tried to watch him, nothing would happen. Raigo told him, fine, spoil sport. As they walked away, Hinata could feel the tears she had been holding back start to flow freely down her face. That hurt her deeply because Kurenai was the big sister she had always wanted and the only person who had ever supported her. Finding out that it was all a lie was too much for her to handle. She was so upset that she didn't notice the bugs that landed on her ropes and started to eat them. Shino said calmly, Hinata-san, please calm down. It's very upsetting, but we need to focus on escape. The frantic buzzing sound coming from him was the only sign that this was all a show. Hinata tried to calm down by taking a deep breath. Okay Shino, I'm fine for now, she said, but she didn't really mean it. Kiba-san, can Akamaru gnaw his way free? Shino asked Kiba, who was on the other side of the tree. The angry Kiba said, no, they gagged him, and I can't reach a kunai. He was upset that his partner was tied down. Shino asked Hinata, can you use your Byakugan to find out where they are? Hinata felt a little stupid for not realizing earlier that she had been channeling chakra into her eyes, but all of a sudden, she felt a shooting pain go through them. Arg, there's something stopping me from using my eyes. Hinata cried out in pain. That had never happened before. As soon as she tried to send chakra to her eyes, they exploded in unbearable pain. She was still able to send chakra to the rest of her body, but her dujutsu didn't work anymore. In that case, the best thing to do is to remain quiet whilst my insects chew through these ropes, Shino said. Kibi asked, do we know where we are? I am uncertain. It would appear we are not far from Konoha, but the trees are obscuring the sun, so I cannot be certain how long we have been unconscious for, said Shino. The Kiba, who was getting angry, growled, damn. At least they have not come back yet, I can still smell them over in the other clearing. Hinata didn't want to be a bother, so she looked around the clearing to see what else she could say. The clearing they were in wasn't very interesting, but there were some pretty blue lilies growing in the shade. Hinata whispered, Shino-san, Kiba-san, I think I know where we are. This made her two teammates pay attention. Those lilies growing over there, they are a plant native to the land of fire and like to grow in the northern Konoha forest, so we can't be more than 10 miles from the village. Both of her teammates stopped moving when they heard this. That's right, Kiba said as he sniffed the air, it's faint, but I can still make out the smell of the village. Shino-san, how long will it take your insects to chew through this rope? Hinata asked me. He replied, about another minute, and his teammates nodded to show that they agreed. As teammate prayed and hoped that their captors wouldn't come back too soon, that minute seemed to last forever. The ropes that were holding them together finally let go, and teammate looked at each other before running out of the clearing and into the trees. Even though they were moving quickly through the branches, they had to slow down so that Shino could keep up since he wasn't very physically fit. That's how fast they were going. The 10 miles should take them 15 to 20 minutes, depending on the terrain. Damn it, I can't believe Sensei was a traitor. I mean, we trusted her and she was just going to sell us to Kumo. Kiba cried out. I mean, that's sick, breeding stock. When we get back we need to get an ambush squad sent after her, he said. Shino tilted his head to Hinata and said, Kiba-san, please keep your feelings in check. You are not the only one who is suffering right now. Since they got away, Hinata had been quiet. Her whole world had turned upside down, and she didn't know what to think. It didn't feel right. She had known Kurenai for years and thought she was lovely. It didn't make sense for her Kurenai-san to be with the woman in the clearing. Then it clicked, even though it might not have been possible at first. There was a quiet status from Hinata. The Hyuga Hinata. Type. The gamer. Title. Heir of the Hyuga clan plus 10% more experience with Juken and Byakugan. Status effect. Seal that stops dojutsu. Level 8. 1150 seconds experience to move up to the next level. HP. 200 200s. CP. 200 200s. 5 for strength. 21 for dexterity. 5 for agility. 10 for vitality. 10 for intelligence. 10 for wisdom. 1 for charisma. Present. If you're timid, you lose 20% of the reputation gain below friendly and 20% of the experience gain to Juken techniques. Plus 2 dexterity per level for joints that are flexible. Question mark. Plus 50% express 2. Skills and jutsu. Point. 0. Perk. 0. Ryo. 0. It was a suppressant seal. She knew it had to be somewhere on her, so she stopped to look for it. They got a few yards ahead before stopping because they knew Hinata wasn't with them anymore. Hinata-san, we need to hurry, they could notice we are gone any moment now, Shino told him. One moment Shino-san, there is a suppressant seal on me preventing me from using my Byakugan. Just one moment, I have almost got it, Hinata smiled. He replied, Hinata-san, I don't see why this is important. Hinata went back to her teammates before she could settle her face into a determined look. It is important, Shino-san, because I think I have figured this out, said Hinata. Kiba asked, figured out what, Hinata? That none of this makes sense, she answered. Of course it makes no sense, our sensei just betrayed us. Kiba said loudly. She said again, no Kiba-san, I mean it doesn't make sense. Just think about it, Kurenai sensei is one of the kindest people I have ever known and she would not do something like this. Hinata told me. I understand you may be reluctant to believe this, but clearly we did not know sensei as well as we thought, said Shino. Hinata replied, it's not just that. Think about it. She drugged us in the middle of Konoha during the day. Since we are from 3 important clans, this would not go unnoticed, Hinata said, making Shino look thoughtful. Kiba replied, she is a Junin Hinata, so I'm sure she could get away with it. Hinata frowned and said, even if we agree with you, she is a Junin, and as such, you would think she would be able to make a prison that 3 new genin couldn't get out of so easily. Shino's eyebrows raised a little in understanding, and Kiba seemed to have calmed down to think. She also thought to herself, not only that, but my power didn't work on that Kumo in. Hinata asked, also, what does sensei specialize in? Genjutsu. Kiba asked. Genjutsu. Proof from Hinata. If this were a kidnapping, there would have been no reason to seal my Byakugan, as it would not have helped us escape. However, if this was a test, Byakugan. Hinata cried out. Hinata told the forest, you can come out now, Kurenai sensei. Clap 3 times. As Kurenai came into view, she said, I have to say I am impressed. I was ready to pass you guys if you just escaped and made it back to the village, but Hinata, that was some impressive deduction. Kiba yelled, what sensei? As he stepped back to defend himself. While your willingness to protect your team is admirable, Kiba, you need to stand down, the test is over. I am proud to announce that we are officially Team 8 Inches, Kurenai said proudly. Story quest is over. Do well on your sensei's test. 300 experience points, the title of genin, and a job as a junior teacher. Secret goal. Look under the underside of the underside to find the answer to your genin test. 1 perk point is a secret reward. Kiba asked, wait, so we pass? Kurenai laughed and said, yes Kiba, you passed. Kurenai walked over to her new team, knelt down in front of them, and hugged them. I'm so proud of you 3, and I'm sorry I put you through something so terrible, she said. Little by little, Hinata said, it's okay, Kurenai sensei. I'm just glad this is over. She buried herself deeper in the hug. So am I. Team 8 was very tired when they got back to Konoha. They went to a small tea shop called the Dragon of the West, which had the best cinnamon buns and tea in the whole land of fire. After sitting down and eating all the sweets, Hinata felt a lot better. All right, team, we need to do our debrief now, Kurenai said, making Kiba groan. Kurenai said in a stern voice, the sooner we do this, the sooner we can all go home. And since you look so eager, we'll start with you, Hiba, Kurenai said, making the boy who looked like he was wild grown even more. Kurenai told Kiba, you showed a great willingness to work with and trust your team, and you were also quick to defend them if necessary. That is an admirable trait. Hiba puffed out his chest with pride. However, your big mouth gave out mission-critical information. I informed you all that I would be testing you, not when it started, and you gave me information I previously had no access to. If I had not known, Hinata would have worked out the deception much sooner. One of the things you will be working on is information control. Hiba was admonished by Kurenai. Shino, you were incredibly calm and helped your team escape its bonds. You were cool and collected in the field, which is something some Shunin don't understand. However, you are the least physically skilled in the group, which slows them down and could be disastrous on a mission. My advice to you is to make less use of your clan's techniques and improve your physical strength, Kurenai said, getting Aburame to nod. Lastly, Hinata, you showed great intelligence and insight, which is a very important trait for a leader to have. But you got too emotional on mission, and if you made the wrong choice, it could have killed everyone on your team. Kurenai told him, you need to cool down your feelings and be more objective on mission. Your reasoning was sound, but it was also based on your feelings. For a tracking and scouting team, which this team will most likely become, evading enemies and escaping capture are necessary skills. Seeing that Jen and Kurenai had a sad aura around her, she continued, despite that, all of you did much better than expected. I didn't expect you to find the real secret of the test. Now go home and sleep, and then come see me at training field 8 at 7 a.m. Yes, Master, all three Genin said. You woke up HP and restored CP. Yesterday was a very hard day for Hinata, both physically and emotionally, but she felt stronger because of it. After meeting Shino and Kiba, Kurenai-sensei went back to the compound to check on her and make sure she was okay. She thought she might have been too hard on the new Genin, and Hinata knew that she had been very stressed out before her Junin exams 6 months before. Hinata could tell Kurenai was feeling better when she said she didn't have any bad feelings, even though she was the one being psychologically attacked the most. Though she was no longer a child, she was ready to forgive and forget. The cinnamon buns as an apology didn't hurt either. Hinata looked to her right and saw that it was 5 a.m. She chose to get up. The reason she got up so early was to play around with her bloodline some more. She got out of bed, took a quick shower, and changed into her shinobi clothes. She sat down at her desk and said, Reputation, after getting ready for the day. The reputation system lets you keep track of what one person or group of people thinks about a user. A better reputation gives you access to more quests, more dialogue options, more romance options, discounts in shops, and advantages in battle. This is how the reputation chart is kept track of. Vilified, hated, disliked, neutral, liked, friendly, honored, and exalted. A reputation score of 1000 means that it can go up one level after reaching this level. Neutral A16 1000s for Kohoa Shinobi. Civilians of Konoha. Neutral, 0 1000s. Hyuga main family. Not like 0 1000s. Hyuga branch family. Not very friendly 0 1000s. Hyuga Hiyashi. Not like 0 1000s. 0 1000s for Hyuga Hanabi being friendly. 0 1000s for Hyuga Neji being hated. Naruto Uzumaki a 130 out of 1000 likes. Uchiha Sasuke. Not like 0 1000s. Neutral a 0 1000s for Haruno Sakura. Yamanaka Ino. Neutral, value, 0 1000s. Neutral and 0 1000s for Akamaiki Choji. Nara Shikamaru is neutral and scores 0 1000s. Liked a 0 1000s for Inazuka Kiba. Liked. 0 1000s by Aburame Shino. 0 1000s for Yuhi Kurenai a honored. As Hinata looked at this list, which proved what she already felt, she smiled in a sad way. Disliked by my own father, she said in a low voice. She always knew that her father was upset with her because she didn't act like a Hyuga. She was too soft, as he put it. Kurenai had always told her she was a great person and not to worry about what other people thought, but it was hard to believe when it was written down. Neji was another sore spot. Her cousin had blamed her father for his actions toward her when she was almost taken by Kumo. But since he couldn't say he hated the clan leader, hatred moved to her instead. She let him hate her because she thought that letting him vent would help his heart heal and he would return to being the nice Neji Ni-san who used to push her on the swings and steal her cinnamon buns from the kitchen. Actually, Neji Ni-san always said she was weak, and she might have been. Hurting people never made her happy. She actually wished she could heal them instead. Hyugas were not fit to be medic ninjas, so she would never be able to become one. However, she loved making healing salves in her spare time. She felt bad about this because she thought the Hyuga clan would have the best doctors the elemental nations had ever seen. They would be able to tell if someone is sick just by looking at them. She might be able to change, though, and get stronger over time. She wouldn't do this for herself, but to help heal her clan. Hinata was determined, so she chose to look at the next menu. Inventory. You can put things in and take them out of a closed dimension pocket from the inventory screen. You can also equip items directly to your body from the inventory screen. This has an immediate effect. The inventory system lets that item be put away and taken out in the same condition it was in when it was first added. Hinata's eyebrows went up to her hairline. This was amazing. It might not seem like much, but it would let her store more food and other gear in the field, seemingly without any limits. On top of that, it would save money on storage scrolls and not require any sealing skills. She could also change her gear on the spot, which was amazing. She was like a walking armory. The equipment screen is a part of the inventory screen. This is where you can manage your equipment and see what bonuses they give you. Things used. Head. Konoha Hidai 8, plus 10% experience from missions done by the mission office. Back. Jacket with a hood. Arms. Not given. Shinobi sandals for feet. Add-on. None. Hinata went to her closet and took off a few more clothes. She then played around with her inventory by putting them on, taking them off, and storing them. She also got all of her kunai and shuriken and put them all in her inventory, along with the 5 soldier pills she still had. You're done with all of the basic tutorials. 50 experience points and 500 Ryo as a reward. The Hyuga Hinata. Type. The gamer. Title. Heir of the Hyuga clan plus 10% more experience with Juken and Byakugan. Teacher. Kurenai Genjutsu learning rates go up by 50%, and skills and intelligence go up by 1 per level. Level 8. 365 1150 seconds experience to move up to the next level. HP. 200 200s. CP. 200 200s. 5 for strength. 21 0.21 for dexterity. 5 for agility. 10 for vitality. 10 for intelligence. 10 0.1 for wisdom. 1 for charisma. Present. If you're timid, you lose 20% of the reputation gain below friendly and 20% of the experience gain to Juken techniques. Plus 2 dexterity per level for joints that are flexible. Question mark. Plus 50% express 2. Skills and jutsu. Point. 0. Bonus. 1. Ryo. 500. Because Kurenai was her teacher, she got an extra point for intelligence and wisdom every level, as well as 2 points for dexterity. She also remembered that her last mission gave her a new title. Genin. Plus 50 HP and CP while equipped. The truth was that wasn't so bad. She could wear her Hyuga Heiress title while she trained and her Genin title while she was on missions. The one thing she did notice was that her current gear wasn't really helping her defend herself. This might have been okay at the academy, but now it wasn't right. She needed money to change her gear, which meant she had to go on missions. She could have asked her family for money, but being able to take care of herself was more important. It was 15 minutes early for Hinata to get to Team 8's training ground, but Kiba and Shino were already there, sitting idle. Hinata had to hold back a laugh. Kiba was very loud and boisterous, and Shino was very quiet, so they didn't know how to talk to each other. She sat down next to them and said, "Good morning, Kiba-san and Shino-san." They said, "Good morning," or morning. "I hope you both have not been waiting long," she told me. "Don't worry about it," Kiba said with a big smile. "Hinata, Shino and I have only been here a few minutes. Man, I can't believe we are really genin. What do you think our first mission is going to be?" "I bet we will be rescuing a princess or taking down a missing nin. Man, this is going to be awesome," Kiba said. Hinata didn't know what the missions were either because every time she asked an older shinobi, all they did was pat her on the head and smile. Logically, they would not have new genin performing such important tasks. "I imagine we would be assigned easier missions, perhaps guard duty or patrolling our borders," Shino thought. "That does seem more likely, but I think we can do it if we work together as a team, or even as friends," Hinata said, stuttered and blushing near the end. Kiba and Shino looked at Hinata, who was blushing, and nodded together. They had already decided to try to get the shy girl to open up a bit, but they could tell she was already doing a good job. "Yes, Hinata," Kiba replied with a smile. "That would be fine," Shino said, but his face was hidden by his clothes. With Inuzuka Kiba and Aburame Shino, reputation went up by 200 points. She smiled as she looked up at her two teammates. Hinata didn't have many friends, so she was glad her teammates seemed like they would like to try. A voice from behind them said, "Well, I'm glad to see you all getting along so well." There was a Kurenai-sensei sound. You will be with your genin teammates for a large portion of your career, so it's good if you get along. It may come a time when you will have to entrust your life to them and theirs to you, she added. Hinata, Shino, and Kiba gave her a serious look and then nodded their heads to each other. "Anyway, it's my responsibility to get you into shape. As you know, I specialize in genjutsu, but all Junin have to have a grasp on most areas, so don't worry. I also know all three of you are clan children, so I won't try to interfere with that training, but I will try to supplement it and make sure you are all more efficient all round. So to give you a brief overview on what we will be covering, I will teach you all advanced chakra control exercises, genjutsu if you show a capacity for it, or just how to dispel it if not, and I will also work with you on individual issues. Shino, we will work on your taijutsu and try to create a style that utilizes your clan techniques as well as improve your overall fitness. Kiba, we will work on tactics and how best to utilize combat space and perhaps get you started with a weapon. Hinata, I think a few genjutsu would work well with your arsenal, but a lot of our training will involve sparing to get you used to engaging an opponent. I think this will be enough to start you all off with, and we can assess your progress as we go. Does that sound good?" The three genin all said, "Yes, sensei." Now that that's out of the way, who wants to go do their first mission? Team 8 went to the mission office and waited calmly while their sensei took a mission from the desk Chunin. "All right, team, it's time for your first D-rank mission. As Team 8, our first job is to watch some kids for someone in the village. I made a new quest. Task: watch over some kids in the area. Prizes: 50 yen, 50 express, YN. What do you want us to do?" yelled Kiba, who wasn't having any fun. "Kiba, you heard me right, we're going to watch some kids. As a shinobi, you always finish the mission, so don't you think you can handle a few kids?" Kurenai made fun of him. "Huh, please sensei, this will be a piece of cake, those kids won't know what hit them," said Kiba. Hinata just shook her head at how simple it was to trick Kiba. XXXXXXX. They had been with the kids for 30 minutes, and one of the babies had already peed on Kiba's jacket. He was about to lose it. "I'm not overreacting. You can say what you want when your sense of smell is better, Shino," Kibi yelled. "Calm down, Kiba-san, or you'll wake up the kids," Hinata said in a soft voice. "Besides, it's not that bad, I am sure no one else will notice it," said Hinata. The skill of acting was made possible by a special action. Kiba replied, "Really, you think?" "Thanks, Hinata." While Team 8 took care of the babies, time kept going by. Before they knew it, 3 hours had passed, and their mission was over. The quest is over. Prizes: 50 yen, 50 express. When they got paid, Hinata put her pay into her inventory in a sneaky way. It wasn't much, but it was something. "Since it was your first day," Kurenai said, "Okay team, let's do some sparring and then call it a day. Meet me at our training ground. She then disappeared into a swirl of leaves. While Team 8 was still at the training ground, their sensei was already there to greet them. Okay team, when we are not doing missions or working on you individually, we will be doing sparring to get you more used to combat. Each of you will face each other, and after each round I will give you 20 minutes to rest. Match 1 will be Shino versus Hinata. There is a new quest now. Quest: fighting Shino with a sword. Goal: get rid of Shino. Prizes: 250 express for success. Not working. 100 express. YN. Before going up against Shino, Hinata presses the yes button on her screen and decides to watch him. Abraham Shino is his name. Level 10, 250 250ths HP. CP, 350 350ths. 3 for strength, 4 for dexterity, 3 for agility, 15 for vitality, 20 for intelligence. Sense, 20, 1 for charisma. Kurenai yelled, and start. Hinata rushed in quickly to stop Shino from fighting because she knew her physical stats were much lower than her own. She wanted to do this without hurting Shino so that she wouldn't have to. Hinata closed the distance quickly enough and aimed a palm strike directly at her opponent. He was able to avoid it and hit her in the jaw with his own attack. HP 190 200ths. One of Hinata's abilities told her exactly how much damage she had taken, which was helpful. That blow should have hit her, but she felt very stiff and awkward while she was fighting. As Hinata thought about her options, Shino moved back and threw a series of shuriken at her. She just barely avoided them by rolling to the side. She thought that one of the shuriken must have hit her in the neck and caused the small prick. Shino kept attacking by throwing weapons at her, but she was quick enough to avoid them because she was so skilled. As she tried to avoid being hit, it suddenly occurred to her that the reason she felt so awkward was because she was still trying to fight with Academy Cat as she barely remembered instead of her known Juken. Even though it was kind of expected, this was her first real fight after learning the skill. It was still a mistake. After avoiding the latest attack from Shino's weapons, Hinata took a more solid stance, ignoring the stinging feeling in her legs, where she thought she must have been caught a few more times. She then launched herself at Shino with much more grace and fluidity. When Shino saw Hinata charging, she fired one last desperate attack, but Hinata just made it through. She then hit the boy in the chest with a chakra-enhanced blow. "Please give up, Shino-san. I don't want to hurt you," Hinata said while standing above Shino's downed body as a defense. The Shino in front of her turned into a swarm of bugs all of a sudden, and Hinata felt a sharp pain in her shoulder. HP 170 200ths. Hinata grunted and reached behind herself to pull out the kunai that was stuck in her shoulder. She quickly turned around, but was hit in the jaw, sending her to the ground. 160 200ths HP. When she looked up, her teammate was kneeling next to her with a kunai stuck to her throat. Kurenai said, "All right, that's enough. Shino is the winner. Quest failed. Quest: fighting Shino with a sword. 100 express as a reward." Shino reached out and helped Hinata get up. She thanked him with a meek smile and then stood up and patted herself on the back. "Good job, Shino. That was a simple but effective plan you used. Now, do either of you know what Shino did?" "Why?" Kurenai asked. Hinata said, "I'm sorry, Sensei, but I don't know." "Sensei, he made a copy before the match, right?" Kiba replied. "That's right, Kiba. As soon as I announced that we would be sparing, Shino made a clone and switched places, hiding himself in the tree line, and as soon as Hinata attacked he sent out his Kikaiju insects to start sapping her chakra while she fought the clone. Is that right, Shino?" Kurenai said. "That is a correct assessment, Sensei. Due to Hinata-san being distracted and neglecting to activate her Byakugan, I was able to hide from sight, slowly siphoning off her chakra and then surprise her after she believed she had defeated me," said Shino. Hinata was shocked and went to her status menu to make sure she understood what was being said. The Hyuga Hinata. Type: the gamer. Title: heir of the Hyuga clan, plus 10% more experience with Juken and Byakugan. Teacher: Kurenai. Genjutsu learning rates go up by 50%, and skills and intelligence go up by 1 per level. Level 8. 521,150 seconds experience to move up to the next level. 160/200ths HP. CP 200/170ths. They were right. The bugs might not have taken away a lot, but if the battle had gone on longer, it would have been very bad. So Hinata, what you should learn from this is that you shouldn't be too comfortable, even if your opponent looks like they've lost. They could be trying to trick you into a trap. You should have used your Byakugan right away, too. If you had, you would have known Shino's trick was a lie. As a shinobi, you have to use everything you have, even if it's new to you, Kurenai told him. A 20-minute break was called for. Next up is Hinata versus Kiba. Kurenai said. There is a new quest now. Quest. Fighting Kiba with a sword. Goal. Get rid of Kiba. Prizes. 250 express for success. Not working. 100 express. YN. Hinata was able to heal a bit during the break, and Shino hadn't done too much damage to her, so she was pretty much ready to go. HP. 168/200ths. CP. 178/200ths. When she woke up and went to Kiba, the first thing she did was send a steady flow of chakra to her eyes, which turned on her Byakugan. She chose to watch Kiba and his Ninken partner, just like she did with Shino. This is Inuzuka Kiba, 8th level, HP. 200/200ths. CP. 150/150ths. 20 for strength. 17 for dexterity, 18 for agility, 10 for vitality, 5 for intelligence, 4 for wisdom, 4 for charisma. There was no doubt that she had to be careful, since Kiba was much faster and stronger than her. However, she was a little better at handling her hands. This is Akamaru, level 5, HP, 200/200ths, CP, 130/130ths, 10 for strength, 10 for dexterity, 10 for agility, 10 for vitality, 3 for intelligence, 2 for wisdom, 2 for charisma. Akaru had great stats for his level, so she would need to keep an eye on the puppy. Okay, guys, are you ready? Kurenai said, and both of her students nodded. She said, begin. Kiba quickly got down on all fours, dashed at her, and jumped into the air while turning his body to get closer. Suga. Passing Fang was all Kiba could say as his body sped up and turned into a drill of fangs and claws. Hinata's eyes got really big when Kiba jumped up from where he was standing. She was so flexible that she was able to bend away and avoid getting hit full on, but the blow still hit her in the side and sent her flying to the ground. Because the hit gave Hinata momentum, she was able to roll with it and get back to her feet while Kiba flew off into the distance, leaving a big space between them. As Hinata calmed down and sat back down, she noticed that she was healthy. 128 out of 200. She didn't want to find out what would happen if she took the full attack because a quick hit took 40 HP away. Hinata quickly turned around and stepped to the side. As she did this, she sent a chakra-infused palm strike downward that connected with something flying through the air. Because Hinata could see almost completely around her, she saw Akamaru trying to attack her back with a Suga. Luckily for Akamaru, Hinata saw him coming and blocked his attack with a precise blow that sent the loyal dog crashing to the floor. Rainbow. Kiba yelled as he ran to help his partner. Hinata also rushed forward to attack Kiba up close when she saw this chance. She hit him several times with small blows. Hinata finally understood how amazing the Byakugan really was. She could see Kiba's muscles straining as he dodged her blows, and she could see how the tenketsu on his body sparkled like tiny stars as chakra moved through them. Several in his arm went dark, like a light had been turned off, as she hit him a few times. Kiba wasn't scared, though, and he used his faster speed to hit Hinata in the side, throwing her off balance. 105/200ths. Using that as an opening, Kiba was able to talk to his partner, who was lying on the ground. Akamaru, are you okay? Kiba said, getting a painful but happy woof from his dog friend. They got back into a low crouch after making sure his dog was okay. Hinata knew this meant they were about to use the Suga because she could see chakra building up. During this time, Hinata wished she knew her clan's Kaden rotation, which would have helped her stop the attack. However, she didn't know it, so she couldn't do anything when the two drills hit her and threw her flying. After some time, Hinata woke up and found herself lying comfortably under a tree with Kiba, who looked tired, next to her. When she stood up, she could see Shino sparring with Kurenai-sensei just a few meters away. "Yo Hinata, you're up," Kiba said. "Kiba-san, how long did I not wake up?" "Why?" Hinata asked. It took Kiba about 40 minutes to answer. Hinata nodded and then took a quick look at herself. The Hyuga Hinata, type. The gamer, title. Heir of the Hyuga clan plus 10% more experience with Juken and Byakugan. Teacher. Kurenai Genjutsu learning rates go up by 50%, and skills and intelligence go up by 1 per level. Level 8. 621,150 seconds experience to move up to the next level. HP. 32,200s. CP 200 150 seconds. 5 for strength. 21 0.21 for dexterity. 5 for agility. 10 for vitality. 10 for intelligence. 10 0.1 for wisdom. 1 for charisma. Present. If you're timid, you lose 20% of the reputation gain below friendly and 20% of the experience gain to Juken techniques. Plus 2 dexterity per level for joints that are flexible. Plus 50% expressed to asterisk skills and shuriken. Point. 0. Bonus. 1. Rio. 500. Based on her health, 40 minutes seemed like a good amount of time for her to recover. In my match, I lost to Shino. His damn bugs drained Akamaru and me, and we used a lot of chakra against you. Kiba told her that Kurenai-sensei then chose to work on Shino's taijutsu for a while. It was Kurenai and Shino who came over at the same time. Okay team, I think that's enough for today. Tomorrow we'll do more, but for now that's enough. Starting today, we will spend 7 AM to 12 PM working on as many D-rank missions as we can. We will take a 1-hour lunch break at 1 PM and then focus on sparring until 2 PM. From 2 PM to 5 PM, we will either work on your individual skills or I may have a specific exercise for you. I will make changes to the schedule as I see fit, is that clear? I told Kurenai. Yes, sensei, her genin said. In a swirl of leaves, Kurenai said, okay team, good work for now. I'll see you all bright and early tomorrow. After the team went their separate ways, Hinata went to the Dragon of the West to get some food. On her way, she used her observe skill on everyone she saw, which helped her level it up 5 times in just a short walk. However, the skill didn't seem to reveal any new information yet, and each level required more observations. That being said, she could only see levels up to 28, so she thought she could only see 20 levels above herself. This meant she didn't know much about most of the shinobi, at least those above genin rank, and she only recognized about half of the chunin. She was sitting in a chair in the corner of the room, which was where she usually sat when she came here. The happy owner came over with her order. He wore red robes with white lotuses and a pale green apron. He looked to be in his 60s and had a round, happy face with his gray hair pulled back into a topknot. His beard had been trimmed into a goatee. The man said, "Ah Hinata-chan, so nice to see you again," as he took Hinata's order. It smelled like green tea and cinnamon buns were just baked, and Hinata couldn't take her eyes off of the tasty treats. Hyuga, who was normally very shy, would fight anyone who said otherwise. The Dragon of the West had the best tea and cakes of all the elemental nations. Naruto, poor, sweet, and naive, thought that ramen was the food of the gods. But Hinata knew the truth. Yes, ramen was tasty, but cinnamon buns were the real way to enlightenment, and she would show him that once they were married. Wait, Hinata's cheeks turned red because her body decided to send half of her blood to her face. Are you okay Hinata-chan, you look like you are feeling a bit ill. Then, after shaking her head and calming down, Hinata said, I'm fine, Oji-san. It was just a long day of training. Ah, training, yes, something I know very well of, he laughed. Back in the day I was something of a warrior myself, he told me. He asked, were you a shinobi, Oji-san? Something like that, sweetheart. It was getting cold, so he told them, "Don't let this old man hold you up any longer." He walked back to the kitchens. He was leaving when Hinata used her observe skill to take a quick look at him. Name: Iroh. Level: Iroh owns the Dragon of the West tea shop and runs it with his son Lu-10. Iroh is very dedicated to making the best tea in the world. He used to own a shop in Tetsu no Kuni called the Jasmine Dragon, but bad luck forced him to quit and move to Konoha. Let's just say Hinata was shocked. Oji-san had to be pretty strong for her not to be able to see his level. A strange thing that caught Hinata's attention was that Iroh's son Lu-10 came out from behind with a worried look on his face. There was also a floating question mark above his head. She went over to see what was going on and asked Lu-10-san, "Is everything okay?" "Why?" she asked. "Ah, Hinata-san, I seem to be in a bit of a predicament. The shipment of flour we ordered has not seemed to have arrived yet, and father wanted to start on another batch of cinnamon buns soon, but we currently can't." Hinata was shocked. She couldn't stand the idea of no cinnamon buns. The individual quest: gather the flour for the quest. 100 express as a reward, 100 yen extra gold. Get all the flour in less than an hour. Extra reward: 100 experience points. Individual quests are ones that can be made by one person or a group in response to a need. Many people can offer quests, and as you gain reputation, you may be able to access more quests with better rewards. Quests that are easy for your level are shown in white, those that are medium are shown in yellow, those that are hard are shown in red, and those that are extremely dangerous and could have far-reaching effects are shown in black. I don't mind collecting it for you. I am finished for the day and it's only 5 p.m. so I don't have to be home yet, Hinata said. Are you sure? The bags are pretty heavy, and it's on the other side of town, Lu-10 said. She smiled and said, Don't worry, Lu-10-san. I can handle it. Okay, in that case I am counting on you, Hinata-san, said Lu-10. As Hinata left the store, she saw a timer appear in the corner of her eye and start counting down from 1 hour. Hinata ran as fast as she could to get to the other side of the village right away. A special action has made a new skill possible. Level of running. 1. Agility is raised by 1% passively. Hinata felt her body even out and her form improve as she ran. She wasn't going any faster than her normal sprint, but her form seemed to get better, which meant she wasted less energy while she was moving. With the new skill she had learned, she was able to cross the village in 15 minutes and get to where the flower was. The manager took her to the back, where she saw 8 big bags full of flour. It broke her heart. She couldn't carry all that. As she carried the bags into the store, she realized she didn't have to. She had never done this before with something this big, but she crossed her fingers and pushed the bag in. The air around it started to change shape, and then it was gone. After checking her inventory, she saw that 1 bag of flour was already there. With a big smile, she put the other bags in the inventory and then left again. There was another time when Hinata worked hard to get back quickly, and she was rewarded for it. Agility has gone up by 1 because of hard physical activity. She got back to the shop with about 20 minutes to spare and ducked into an alley to sneak out with the goods without anyone noticing. Once they were gone, she stacked them in front of the shop before going to meet Lu-10. Ah, Hinata, you're back. That was very fast. I can't thank you enough for your help, he said. The individual quest is over. Reward: 100 express, 100 yen, extra reward, 100 express. No problem, Lu-10-san. I was happy to help, Hinata said with a smile, happy that no one would be turned away from the sweet perfection. When Hinata got home to the Hyuga estate, she was very tired. As she should have, she told her father she had come back in secret, hoping he would ask her about her day, but he just waved her off. Sad but not surprising, Hinata went to spend time with her sister Hanabi and then decided to help some branch family members in the kitchen. This earned her +20 reputation in the skill cooking, which didn't seem very useful at first, but she would keep putting it to use. After a quick bath, she changed into her pajamas and thought about what had happened during the day. Shino and Kiba were both very strong, and she would have to work hard to catch up. She had noticed that doing hard activities, like a short run, would raise her stats without leveling up. She thought that as her stats got higher, they would be harder to raise naturally, so when she leveled up, she would hold back the points and raise her strength the old-fashioned way first, since today showed she could get better pretty quickly. By giving your progression careful thought, your wisdom has grown by 1. In fact, it was well worth her time to improve her skills. The passive bonuses for her skills might not seem like much, but they could add up to a big boost. She already had passive bonuses for 3 stats, maybe there were skills for others. She might want to check out the library after training tomorrow. By giving your progression careful thought, your wisdom has grown by 1. It was making even more sense to her now that she thought about it. She might want to figure out how she wanted to specialize so that when the time came, she could spend her points most wisely instead of being too general. She thought she heard some of the boys call it min-maxing when they were talking about their video games.